Hello, my name's Michael Conneely and I'm speaking to you from the beautiful far west of Ireland, where Maggie Pashley, my partner, and I run a healing centre with linked Airbnb. And I'm telling you particularly about my Level 2 Vedic Astrology course studying the Nakshatras. The website is www.nakshatrasadvancedcourse.com. You do need to know some Vedic astrology to be able to do it, basically. So you can do my foundation course first, or maybe you know enough to come in at the level 2, or maybe you've studied someone else's foundation course. And I particularly want to recommend the Nakshatra study to you. Do it. What are the Nakshatras? Well, the Nakshatras are the 27 lunar signs of Vedic astrology. Vedic astrology has the 12 solar signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, etc. But also, behind those, the wonderful 27 lunar signs. These are so powerful, these are so beautiful, these are so essential to know and understand. Basically, they depict our emotional self because they're based on the moon, they're lunar. They're not the full truth of us, but we need to know and understand them so that we can actually do the job we came here to do, which is understand ourselves and transform and become more spiritual. Now, for each nakshatra, for each of the 27 nakshatras, you get a bundle of sort of information and also a video. And so the course works like this. You work through the 27 nakshatras, and basically it's done in relation to your chart and my chart, like all my courses. And the reason is that keeps it genuine, that keeps it authentic, and that keeps it grounded. It's not just intellectualization, blah, blah, blah. We can check out whether I'm talking authentically to you, whether you're talking authentically to me, because you are talking about your chart and my chart. And I think that's a huge strength in the learning, and I use it in all my courses, Western astrology and Vedic astrology. And so basically you study the nakshatras through 1 to 27. Now, if there isn't a planet of ours in that, what you do is you write up a summary, however short or long you want, a depiction of that nakshatra. And you do that on the basis of the video I send you and the course material I send you. But also, very, very importantly, your reading. I recommend to you a range of books on the nakshatras, and they each come with the wisdom and the insight and the different personality of that author. And you'll probably learn to really love one more than the others, or two more than the others. But, you do the study in relation to what I offer you and the reading. So you write up the depiction, and if neither you nor me has a planet in that nakshatra, well, basically you can do a little depiction of how that nakshatra energy is manifesting in someone you know, or maybe a celebrity or historical figure, and say how you think the energy of Ashwini Nakshatra manifests in their life. But where we do have a planet in that nakshatra, then we study in depth. And so, for example, you would definitely do a depth study on Ashwini, because I have Rahu, the north node of my moon, there. And so you learn what Ashwini means, and then you go into, well, what do you think having Rahu, the north node of the moon, does to Michael? And of course, if you have a planet in Ashwini, you would do the same study for you. You get the drift. So the planets, by the way, are the 9 planets of Vedic astrology, but of course also the Lagna, the ascendant or rising sign as it's called, and the Aruda Lagna, which is the very important part of the chart, how we present in the world, not our truth, but how the world perceives us. So those are the points that we particularly study if any of those points are in a nakshatra. So let's go on to just looking briefly at Ashwini, the first nakshatra. So basically, it's at the start of the Vedic sidereal zodiac, and basically it's coming up out of the void. there are 3 points in the Vedic zodiac where water gives way to fire. And in the middle of that transition is the void, the Gandanta, a very important point to understand. And so each of the 3 nakshatras that start off with a rising of fire after the dissolution of water are ruled by Ketu, the south node of the moon. And so that makes these people spiritual, can be prone to meltdown, and in relationships can certainly have past life issues and, of course, past life connected partners. So the first point is that Ashwini is ruled by Ketu. Now, all the nakshatras are classified as to the gunas, Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. Rajas is people who are desirous. I want it now. Tamas is material. And of course, it's important to value the material, and it's important to value Rajas. And the third gunas is Sattva, which is spiritual. Now, incidentally, Maggie's moon is in Ashwini, so and the gunas are done to 3 levels. So her moon is Rajas, Rajas, Rajas. So that can be good in that it throws her to achieve things, but of course she has to learn not to just go from one thing to another, the fire of Rajas. My moon is at the very end of Pisces in Revati Nakshatra, the 27th and final nakshatra. So my moon, weirdly, is Sattva, Sattva, Sattva. But the trouble is that can make me hopelessly sensitive and impractical. So we need the understanding of our gunas. We need the perception. We need to sort of understand it, and we need to heal and transform. And all my courses are linked to healing and transformation as a matter of principle. And you can go into that as much as you want. So another classification of the nakshatras is the 4 aims of life: dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So what exactly are you primarily attuned to? It's important to sort of understand that. Dharma is about sort of spiritual teaching. Kama is desire. Moksha is salvation. And Ashwini is orientated towards Dharma. So it's useful to have that statement, but again you have to contextualize it. Another set of classifications, for example, is the power animals of the nakshatra. They can either be male or female. Now the power animal for Ashwini is the stallion, the male horse. That's quite some power animal. And each nakshatra has a ruling deity. And in the case of nakshatra, it's the Ashwini Kumaras, the healer twins. And the whole point is the nature of Ashwini is that they very often become healers. And it's a certain sort of healing, like an ambulance man, where they get to the site of the illness and bring about an immediate healing. So you get loads of information, which obviously I can't go into here in the video. Let me say 2 things. The first is that the key goal of an Ashwini is not to be the power animal, the stallion, but to be the horse tamer. Ashwinis can be incredibly destructive until they realize that. And secondly, let's briefly look at the myth. Now, the myth is that the sun had a wife called Sajna. And she didn't find it easy being married to the sun. He burned, he flared, he was so very busy, controlling all these planets. And so she got more and more fed up. So she actually pulled a subterfuge on her husband. She put her sister Chaya in the marriage bed, and she herself fled to the forests of earth disguised as a mare. Well, obviously, the sun wouldn't notice that at first. He had to get on with his job of ruling the solar system. And in fact, he had other children by Chaya. Saturn was born, and Saturn, got a very bad deal from his father. But of course, eventually the son realised, hey, where's my wife? And actually he missed her. So he searched around the solar system. Where on earth is she? Aha, he saw her hiding in the forests of Earth. A mare, a female horse. So what did he do? He changed into a stallion. He streaked across the skies of dawn. He headed down into the forests. They had a reconciliation. They mated. They gave birth to the Ashwini Kumaras, the healers. And so that's how healing was born. But it has like an energy of sexual panic around it. And there is that energy of panic and sexual panic in Ashwinis that they need to understand. And it's fascinating that the healing methods, the legends describe the Ashwini Kumaras using are so typical of the Bronze Age and Iron Age. And they have the same methods literally used in the Irish epics, which apply to this soil which I'm standing on you're standing on now talking to you. So do enroll for my Nakshatras course. I hope I've conveyed to you the wisdom and the mythic beauty and the sheer insight you'll get into yourself and your life. And not only that, the opportunity to manage your life better, to perceive it more spiritually, and to heal it and transform it. So do enroll on my Nakshatras course. It's a wonderful course. It's vibrant. You can go into it as much depth as you like. You'll be a different person. Thank you.